Coach McKenna here on an off day. Great day to be Irish show. And I took this opportunity because I really believe in life you have to seize opportunities. And I'm blessed to have Miguel home for summer a little bit. He's not traveling. He's not all over the world. He's not training somewhere else. But he's back here for a week, and he's been in here training with me. So I asked him the other day if I could get him on the show because I think he has a great message. And he agreed to do it. We trained this morning, threw a new shirt on. Of course, I think that was his way of getting a new Irish Nation shirt. But threw a shirt on so he's not all sweaty. And Miguel, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. I'm here.
Miguel, what I'd like to do is, just for those people that don't know Miguel, but I think everybody in the world knows Miguel because I've always got him up doing different things and everything. Kind of tell us, who is Miguel? Where did you come from? You know, who are you? What are you doing? Just a little bit about yourself right now.
So my name is Miguel, and I come from Bogota, Colombia, and I was born there, and I spent 3 years there, and I was adopted when I was 3 years old. I came to the U.S., and I started sports when I was 3, pretty much. I started swimming when I was 3, and I was doing sports almost 2.5 hours north of here, and I remember when it came to high school, my mom was sick and tired of driving 2.5 hours to go practice with our team, so she was looking, and we were looking in general for somewhere where I could continue training without having to drive 2.5 hours to practices. And we ended up finding out that Notre Dame had a Paralympian come out of here, Brian Seaman, and when we found that out, we were really interested, and my coach contacted this place first, and he was asking about the accessibility and in general how like the training worked, and it pretty much put it straightforward. I think it was Mr. Roach. He said or McLaughlin told my coach on the phone, he's gonna practice like he's any other athlete, and that was pretty much what it has been since I came here. I mean, I was doing track workouts with able-bodied students. I was lifting with able-bodied students, gym classes. Everything I did was normal, just, you know. So I ended up coming here 2015.
Well, not to change it, just so everybody knows, because it's hard to tell on the screen that they don't know Miguel. Miguel is in a wheelchair and has no legs. And you were born that way.
Yeah,
right?
I was born with congenital amelia. It's just a fancy word for no legs.
So one of the things is, I've never heard that term, but now whenever I talk to you, I hear it all the time. One of the things I got to say about Miguel, and he's right, and especially down here, we didn't treat him any different. We did a lot of weird things, neat things together, and his response would be when I would tell him to do something, I'll try that. And that's what I loved about him. I mean, here's a guy that I can pull up, will shimmy up the pole, and he'll knock out 20 pull-ups in a heartbeat. And I'm sure a lot of you people that follow the Irish Nation have seen his videos. I'm sorry, Miguel.
But it's fine. So I came here in 2015, and I pretty much made my first junior world team when I was here. I went to the Netherlands, and I didn't do that well at the Netherlands. It was my first one. I was kind of excited just to be there. I mean, it was a whole new experience. All I'd have done up to that point were junior nationals, and just junior nationals. So going international for track was huge for me. And then I made 3 more of those teams. I went to Switzerland, Ireland, Czech Republic, Netherlands, and those were all with that team. And you know, as each year I would come back and I would do so much better. And like there was one year in Ireland, like the organizing committee like had me as one of the athletes to watch, and I was just like extremely honored to be the athlete to watch. I mean, they had written a separate piece on me, and I went from not even being able to qualify for these games to being the athlete to watch for the games, and I was extremely honored to be nominated to be given that title. And I remember going to those worlds, and I did really well in Ireland and really well in Czech Republic. I think the Czech Republic were probably my best games ever. And so, and you know, now I've been starting to step more into adult games and stuff like that, and you know, I'll be competing up and down the East Coast. I've been doing races here. I did Peachtree. I did a bunch of races here that were pretty much dreams of mine to do, like Peachtree. I heard about that one. It's an extremely famous race in Atlanta, I was like, man, I really hope one day I could do it. And the University of Arizona paid for me to go do it. And I was just extremely awestruck by the level of competition that there was there. It was insane. It was one of the greatest competitions I ever had. It was just there because you get to see where you are at in the pack and how good you're doing. It was just a great experience overall.
How hard is it, Miguel? And I know we've talked about this a lot. Well, a lot of your training has to be like individual, not against anybody. And I know we always talk about the best weeks we had together. Not that we didn't have a lot of good weeks, but the best week we had was when Brian Seaman was on that one vacation. And I actually got to train both of you. You two got to work together on the track. What are the challenges of working against yourself and by yourself?
A lot of it is a mental thing. I live in Tucson, Arizona. Going out and doing 40, 50 miles a day is hard when you don't have anything but music. It's really hard mentally. It's hard on your mind because you don't have anyone to talk to, you don't have any company. All you have to do is just sit there and push miles. And it's really hard too, because the times I have to go out to beat the sun, I have to leave at 4 o'clock in the morning to be back by 7. Or I have to be back at least by 8 at the latest. I don't think I'll ever let a workout go later than 8 because it just gets so hot in Arizona. And for me, it's just, there's nobody around. You can't see much at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. You can't see anything, actually. So for me, it's like, it was a psychological thing at first, but once you get past that, I need somebody there with me at all times, otherwise I can't finish the work. Once you get past that, you improve your work ethic. You are able to go out and do those miles by yourself. And once you improve that work ethic, the work starts coming in and you start getting better. And I felt like I started to improve as soon as because at the University of Arizona, I was a little too fast for some of the racers and too slow for the hand cyclists. So I was like right in the middle pack and I'm just doing all my own things. And now I can keep up with the hand cyclists for a little bit here and there. And I definitely feel like I've started to improve since I've just been able to start working by myself.
Okay, now we're talking a lot about track, but and I don't want to blow Miguel's horn, but he got into hockey. And I think you're waiting for a call this Friday to see if you made the national team. Tell us a little bit how you got into hockey and look, some of the things you had to do to get better at hockey.
So I started sled hockey my junior year here. And for the time being, it was a time filler. It was just, I kind of want to do this because it's enjoyable, and the fitness from track carried over and the fitness from hockey carried over to track. So I was like, okay, I'll keep them hand in hand. I ended up really enjoying hockey, and I was like, okay, maybe I can go somewhere with this because I was really fast right off the bat. I didn't have to work hard. Like a lot of people have to work really hard just to get fast. I had no legs and I was doing track already. So speed was not a problem for me. It was really just everything other than speed and skating. I just didn't have the skills. I couldn't stick handle. I would stare at my hands when I would stick handle. I couldn't barely steer myself in anything other than a straight line. I didn't know the game because I never watched hockey. I never watched any sports, to be quite honest. I don't really watch sports before I started playing hockey. And then I realized that a lot of it is just learning where to be, learning what to do with your individual skills. Be unique. That was a huge one too. Is the United States Paralympic team has been on top of the world, I think, 3 Paralympic years. So that's 12 years now, almost 14 years. They have been dominant. It's because they're unique. Everybody on the team has something about them that stands out. They have some skill that stands out above everybody else's. There are people who are extremely ambidextrous and can play with both hands as if they have no dominant hand, and it's extremely skillful to do that. There's some people who are right-handed only, but can skate super fast, super well, don't fall over. They can stick handle really well. So it's just being unique in your sport. I know it's actually pretty hard to be unique in track, but like just finding a way to stand out. In hockey, just finding that one skill you're good at and perfecting it, and then work on your weaknesses as you go. And so for me, mine was speed. I spent hours and hours just trying to get a little faster. And my stick handling is my weakest skill, for sure. I can't really see the puck, or sometimes I'll skate so fast that I lose the puck. And I would literally have to sit down for hours. I mean, this weekend I'm probably going to go to Grundy and practice with a friend. Just go, me and him, and just go down the ice, stick handling with the puck on our right side, then on our left side, and then passing and this and that. And it's just those individual skills that you need to work on, and there's no one's gonna help you but yourself.
Right.
No one's gonna help you but yourself. You can say you want to get better, but not actually do anything about it. You could say, "Oh man, I got to work on this skill," and not do anything about it. And I've seen people not even admit that they're lacking in a field. Like I've seen people be like, "Oh, I'm the best stick handler," or "I'm the fastest person out there," and they're really not. And you want to be honest with yourself. When you show up to those practices and you see your strengths and weaknesses, be honest to yourself. You're not going to get better unless you're 100% honest with yourself. And I think it begins with being honest with yourself.
That's a good point. Miguel, I'd like to go back to high school for a little bit because I know you had a great relationship with one of the best kept secrets probably at Notre Dame, Coach McLaughlin. Tell us a little bit about your time with Coach McLaughlin and a little bit about that.
So I had heard about McLaughlin from Brian, mostly. Brian was the track guy here, track athlete here, and I remember him telling me about McLaughlin, like the whole story about he told him he should start doing track, and then he realized that it wasn't just a broken leg, he was actually paralyzed. And I was like, oh man, I hope McLaughlin doesn't I hope he doesn't think the same about me. And I was like, because I had already been doing it, so I showed up and I was like, hey, I'm kind of here to do track. Like I found out you guys had Brian, and I know you guys have had multiple people with disabilities come through the school, and I've heard that they train, I heard that they compete at an able-bodied level, and I was like, that's exactly what I want. I don't want any special treatment or this and that. I said, okay. And I was like, and I remember on the car ride home, I'm thinking, it was like, wait a minute, what about like drills where you like sprint down and you gotta go back? Don't I need like time to break? And like we literally would do it where I would sprint down and I'd have to coast the full 300 meters all the way to go there and then do another sprint and coast the full 300 meters and do another sprint instead of go down, go back, go down and back, because the turn was just too much time. It was too time consuming, and I ended up loving it because Coach McLaughlin treated me like any able-bodied student. I did every workout slightly modified to consider my break time. That was it. That was all we had modified, was my break time. How long it took me to stop to get to a full stop. And that was it. You know, the entire time I was here, the track team respected that lanes 1 and 2 were for me. And even then, like, people would be in lane 1 and 2 and they would know that I would just go around them. And I think the only incident I ever had, any crash I ever had, was with someone from another school. I'd never crashed into anyone from Notre Dame because you guys were so respectful, so, you know, you guys understood what it was like for me to have to like dodge people. And I think I think it really helped me out in like individual skills just being here and learning from the able bodies and helping the able bodies in their sport too, because I would help pace them in their miles and pace them in their races that they were trying to do better at.
Student coming into Notre Dame, what kind of advice would you give them to be successful in their 4 years at Notre Dame?
Definitely don't let up the gas at any point in time. It's funny because our theme at the development camp I was just at is don't let up the gas. If you're winning 10-0, you don't want to run up the score, but you don't want to let up the gas. You want to keep playing at the level. You do not want to ever let up the gas. So here it's the same thing. You do not want to be doing extremely well, almost ace everything, and then just let up the gas 1 year, because you never know if you're just going to keep letting off the gas the next 2-3 years or whatever. Don't stop. Just if you start doing really well, if you come in doing really well, finish doing really well. It's 4 years.
Great advice.
It's 4 years. Honestly, it's not even worth messing around those 4 years. It's not worth it. You can mess around in college a little, like you have a little free time here and there, but it's 4 years of your life. Just dedicate yourself to 1 or 2 things and get through it. It gets a lot more fun later on. You just can't really mess around these 4 years. These are extremely important years.
Okay, where does Miguel see himself in the next year? What do you got on the horizon here? What are you going to be doing?
So right now my times have been getting a little better, and I've been sending PRs here and there, and I think hopefully parapens, and hopefully use parapens as a stepping stone for maybe a world championship that they're doing in Saudi Arabia, no, Dubai, Kuwait, I believe. So they're gonna be in Kuwait, I believe. The games are gonna be in Kuwait, so hopefully use parapens as a stepping stone for Kuwait, and use Kuwait as a stepping stone for Tokyo. Tokyo is definitely the ultimate goal. I'm starting to get pretty close times-wise to what I would need. I mean, compared to where I was for Rio, I was not quite there. So I definitely think I'm going to be making a push for Tokyo. And if I made the development team in hockey, I've seen people in one season get extremely well. So I'm hoping if I made the development team, national team, in hockey, I'm going to just improve a lot more as a player. Because it's one training camp every month out of a different state. And that would, with high level, athletes in hockey, I know that would help me become a better hockey player.
Good. I wish you luck on the national team.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to let me know Friday when you hear and everything. One of the things that always impressed me about Miguel, and I say this all the time, because I believe we've become a woe is me society. Every time something happens, it's oh, look what's happening to me. Oh, dear me. Oh, whoa. You know what? I've never, in the years that I've known Miguel, 7 years, heard him complain once about his situation. And I think he made me a better strength coach. I think we all can learn from Miguel about, hey, there's people that should be complaining. Never hear them complain. They're fortunate. They're very happy with what they have, and they move forward. And I think, Miguel, you've taught me a lot, and I thank you for that and everything else. Because I think we became a good team together. You let me do things to you. I've had other athletes that had challenges, Nick Maruka, Brian, and every one of I've ever worked with trusted me to push you to another level.
Yeah.
And I always remember you. Yeah, when I would give you things, like I said earlier, you would always just say, "Let's try it," and give it a try, and it always worked out. Couple things coming off a real good, and I got to give a plug for my 2019 Boys of Ball. Last night we had our Irish Warrior Strongman contest, and I couldn't be, talk about being a proud father, couldn't be proud of our guys because our number one team and our number two teams, we had two teams in the competition, 9 teams, finished first and second place. And their effort was unbelievable, their performance was great, and they just kicked butt. And it's not about what they did last night, and I think I put this all on Facebook earlier. It's what they've done since January to prepare for last night and the journey they're getting to be ready for the fall. Guys, I couldn't be prouder of you. And you know what? That's why it's always a great day to be Irish. Miguel, thank you for being here. And wow, you know what? It's going to be a great day. Enjoy life, people.